Well, welcome along to Local Business Growth Lunchtime webinar series in 2022. I'm Nick Cree from SmashGo, and I am excited to be hosting the 6-week live interactive series with you on how to not only survive the potential rough waves to come, but to thrive beyond it. So we have put together an expert panel of industry leaders and the business advisory, banking and finance and sales and marketing worlds, who will be hosting a quick 20-minute session covering key topics of interest on how to restructure for future business expansion, growth and success. So on the call here, we have Matt White from MJW Advisory, Phil Imhoff from Bank of Queensland, Robina Branch, Glenn Bossy from 2020 Financial Services, Mark Brown from Costless Payment Solutions, Adam Bood from Authentic Sales Training Academy, and myself, Nick Cree from SmashGo. At the end of each session, we will be, and certainly at the end of today, we'll be opening up the lines for Q&A. So make sure if you have any questions as we go along or someone you want to connect with, feel free to ask questions at the end of it. So today we have Adam Bood, who is a published author, sales expert, course creator, and he helps with growth mindset and purpose-driven business owners to scale their business, increase their sales, profit, and time by creating integrity-led processes so they have a saleable asset. So Adam combines nearly 30 years of commission-based selling, sales management, sales training, and business ownership across multiple industries, sectors, and markets, both traditional and non-traditional business. Through his connect, communicate, and convert strategy, Adam is changing the way businesses and sales are authentically done for the better. So today, Adam will be discussing how to raise prices, retain customers, and be profitable, create new opportunities from existing products, and nurturing processes, pre-lead and post-sale to maximize value, conversions, and profit. So let's get into it and hand over the floor to Adam Bood.
Thanks, Nick. I'm just going to do a screen share. I've got a bit of a presentation that I'm going to show you guys today. And this presentation, can you see that, Nick?
Yes, we can.
All right, so I'll start it from the beginning. And this is a presentation that I did last week to a group of business leaders that I thought was
Sorry, Adam, you might want to change your screen view there. Yeah, that's the one. Perfect.
Yep, that's one. That I thought it'd be really appropriate to wrap up this series, and it's a really good extension on what Nick was talking about last week, where we're talking about moving away from selling to customers and we're moving into customers wanting to buy, and the power of our personal brand and how that actually comes into the impact that you have in your business today, not only on the sales that you'll get today, but the relationships that you'll create ongoingly moving forward, the client retention that you'll have ongoingly, the increased profits that you can make, because it's not about price, and the referral business that will come. So just so that you understand, there's a massive difference between sales and marketing. Often sales and marketing are put together. We always see a sales and marketing manager or a sales and marketing director. But the unfortunate reality is that sales and marketing, whilst they absolutely go hand in hand, they're a completely different aspect to making the business work. And I look at Nick, and Nick's been in marketing for a long time. I've been in sales for a long time. And I can't do what Nick does, and Nick can't do what I do to the both of our full capacity, because we just operate a completely different spectrum. So this is why sales and marketing is very different. I've literally sold millions of dollars of products and services in my career. I've done it face to face, I've done it over the phone, I've sold online, and I've sold on stage. I've sold intangible products and I've sold tangible products, and I've done that within traditional business and non-traditional business. And that in itself, and it's all been primarily commission-based. Marketers don't do that, and this is why there's a big difference between the two. I've dealt from the CEO level through to mum and dads, as Nick said. I've written my book, The Art of Authentic Selling, and created my online academy. Now, this is where it got quite interesting for me. And we're going to take the whole moving away from selling and moving into buying concept. And it's what I call the difference between, well, I call it industrial age business, which is 100% transactional. And now what we're doing is we're moving into the new age of business, which is relationship selling. And the turning point for me came when I had my first six-figure commission month. I made $142,000 lobbed in my bank account at the end of that month. And that was my goal. My goal was to go from being a six-figure income earner to a six-figure monthly income earner. And when I achieved that, the realization of what I was doing and how I was doing it was all wrong. Coming from commission sales, you know, we've learned how to overcome objections, we've learned how to close, but what I didn't learn was how to be of service. And when I felt, after achieving that goal, I felt lost, I felt unsatisfied, I felt totally unfulfilled. And that was because my focus was not on my customer. My focus was on me and what I can get. So a really big turning point in my career about 5 years ago. So what I want you to do, to give you an example, is think about this. How did you feel when you got your last big sale? Or your last sale? Just have a think about that for a moment. And then think about why you felt that way. Right? Now, the next question is, did you celebrate your win for what you achieved for you? Or did you celebrate the win that you created for your clients? And that is a massive difference in our mindset and our psychology in business today. From my perspective, business is simple. You know, money is a byproduct of service. We are simply solution providers to people's problems. That's it. And we only need to, if you want to use the word sell, what people want and what people need. We don't need to sell them anything more than that. When we're being of service, we're just providing them what they want, and we're delivering exceptional value in what we deliver. So a great place for you to start in this is to understand where you operate from, okay? And we'll go through this now. Are you operating from what I said before, the industrial age of business? That is a 100% transactional world. It is the old business is business mentality. And I don't know about you, but when someone says to me, business is business, that to me means we're not doing the right thing by humanity. We're not looking after people. There's no service, there's no care, there's no nothing. It's 100% KPI based, and it's 100% KPI driven. We need to, and how many times have you heard this? We need to get more sales. We need to get more sales. We have to get more sales. What we're doing is that we are in that industrial age of thinking. It's robotic, it's KPI based, and it's transactional. And when I say that, you know, you look at this image here. I've got that title there, how much can I get from you? Nobody likes being sold to, okay? And you can't sell to a salesperson, full stop. So anyone that tries to sell to me, forget it. But when I've got someone coming to me and I know that they are only interested in what they can get from me, as opposed to what they can give to me, makes me sick. And this is the type of business that we're moving away from and we're moving into. And I put together this little flow chart, and this flow chart really shows you what the industrial age of business is. Okay, it's the transactional selling model. Nick spoke about this last week, and I've touched on this before as well. We need 21 touch points now before people are ready to buy from us. Now, I don't know about you, but 21 touch points is a lot of mucking around in order to get a sale. That whole know me, like me, trust me, it's all manufactured. And that's why people are not buying like they used to. Be that as it may, in order to get the 21 touch points, how do we do that in the traditional world? We do that through marketing, through our AdWords or SEO, Facebook, LinkedIn, referral groups, networking groups, email campaigns, cold calling, There's so many different things that we're doing in order to create our leads. But what people don't understand is that in the direct sales world, the direct sales has a 3% return, period. And that is across all industries. So what that means is if we generate 100 leads in a transactional selling model, at the end of the day, we will get 3 sales from that. Okay, now that to me is a lot of work. The reason that that has happened is because consumers have become disengaged. Okay, they've been lied to, they've been spammed, they've been misled, they've been taken advantage of. There's so much noise, there's so much competition. The digital age has, every time we talk, all of a sudden our news feeds are full with someone trying to sell us their stuff. And it's just not working. So if you look at the 100 leads generated versus the red box there, which is conversations, out of those 100 leads that you generate from a cold direct marketing campaign, you are likely to only speak to 40 people. That means that 60 people, 60 leads that you have generated with your time and your money are straight out the door before you even get a crack at talking to them. Why is that? It's because of what I just shared. People have been smashed. They're not serious buyers. They're not looking for what we want, but they just click on stuff. And in the traditional world, they will then go into the click funnel system, and that click funnel system is just selling, 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 selling. Very different to what Nick was discussing about last week in nurturing, nurturing, nurturing. When we're educating people versus selling people, we're going to have a completely different outcome. Out of the 41 conversations, remember, you need to have 21 touch points with these 40 people. So the follow-up part of this is all part of that touch point strategy. But the unfortunate reality is that 48% of business owners do not follow up after they've made a presentation, after they've given a quote, whatever the case may be, after they've given a proposal. Why would you go through all that effort to generate those leads and have those conversations if you're not even going to follow them up? It's suicide. It's business suicide. The challenge behind why people don't follow up is because I'm too busy. Well, if you're too busy, get out of business, right? If you don't have the ability to scale yourself up so that you can manage this process properly, get out of business because it's not for you. Or I'm too afraid of rejection. And because of that fear of rejection, most business owners will not get on the phone and do that follow-up call. What people don't understand is that 35 to 50% of all sales are actually made on that first follow-up call. So this is the transactional world. You do that first call, you're likely to get a sale. Unfortunately, what happens though in the transactional world is that sometimes, well, in fact, 50% of the time in this example, 70 to 50% of the time, people will not answer their phones. So what we then do is we have to call them again, and we call them again, and we call them again. Now, what happens each time we keep calling people? They see our name, they see our number, they see the company that we're calling from on the phone. What do you think they're thinking of? They're thinking that we are going to sell them something. Why do you think they don't answer their phones or return phone calls? Because people don't like being sold to. So in that transactional model, it just over long periods of time is not sustainable. Now, for me, I had a 30% conversion rate across all the industries that I worked in, which was really high for what I did. The reason behind that is because I've invested over $150,000 on my own education to learn how to sell better. I learned NLP. I learned Reiki because I'm quite energetical. I want to connect with people on an energetical level. I did all of Anthony Robbins. I did all of Tom Hopkins. I did all of Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor, all the old-fashioned stuff that we are doing in order to get better at our craft. But the unfortunate reality is when you do that, what you actually are becoming is manipulative, because it's about creating the end result for us. And when we're creating the end result for us, how many referrals do you think you will get from that person you've just closed? How long will that person that you've just closed want to do business with you? The average client retention number is 3 years. So if we do our job properly, we have one person that we can service for 3 years. What business owners don't understand is it actually costs you 5 times as much to generate new leads back in this area here than what it does to service people on this side, which is why that relationship model is the way to go. Now, why don't most people follow up, or why don't most people, what's going on here? Screen is just frozen on me. There we go. Who's seen this guy? Right? This is Mr. Sleazy. Mr. Sleazy operates in every single sales job that's out there, pretty much. And why does he do that? Because he's doing whatever he can to take your money. As I mentioned before, business owners don't follow up because they don't like rejection. The other reason most business owners don't follow up is because they don't want to be sleazy. They don't want to be that icky salesperson. They don't want to try and convince someone to do something, and that's why they just leave it up to them. Unfortunately, when you're operating from that transactional world, if you want to get more sales, you're going to have to do stuff in order to get the sales. And the sad part about all sales trainers that are out there is that sales trainers only teach you 2 things. 1, how to overcome an objection, and 2, how to close a sale. Now, when it comes to overcoming the objection, what we need to understand is there's only 2 objections out there. The first objection is the person that absolutely has no interest in buying what we're selling. The second objection is the person that is interested in buying what we're selling, but we need to help satisfy the confusion that they have in order for them to want to make the buying decision for themselves. So that leads me into what I call the new age of business, which is relationship selling. And that's very much in line with what Nick's talking about through personal branding. Relationship selling is 100% partnership based. It's collaboration based. It's service based. And the most important part of it is it's care based. When we're in business, if we understand that people don't care about us, all they care about is our care for them, and that we genuinely have an interest in the people that we're serving, you're likely to have them as a long-term client. Now, I'm going to bring a little bit of science into this. Here's the picture of the brain, the Truan brain. In the brain, we've got 3 main areas. We've got the neocortex, which is our thinking brain. We've got the mammalian brain, which is our limbic system, and we've got our reptilian brain. Now, as I'm describing the brain, think about how you operate when you're talking to your potential customers. The reptilian brain. The reptilian brain is all about survival. All right, we're in fight and flight mode. We're in fear mode. It's 100% transactional. We'll hear all the time people say, I've just got to get more sales. I just need to close more sales. I've just got to get more leads. If I can't do this and I can't, you know that they're actually operating from the reptilian brain. So when we're getting better with our communication with people, we need to understand how they operate, and we need to understand how we operate, because their buying decisions are 100% based on how we show up. Then we've got the cortex brain. Now, the cortex brain is our rational brain, our logical brain. It's the analytical mind. It's the reasoning. And that's where all the decision making is made, through the cortex brain. However, it's all transactional. Most people in business, and if they have a sales career, are selling features and benefits. If you want to get really good at making more sales in your business, you need to move away from features and benefits, because people don't give they don't care about the features and benefits. What they care about is how you will make them feel when they use your service. And that's where we get into the limbic brain. The limbic brain is all about our emotions, and it's all about how we feel. It's relationship selling. There's 2 slogans that I want to share with you. 1, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. That is 100% true when it comes to sales. So that is the transactional world, people that are trying to convince. The limbic brain is the second statement I want to share with you, is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Now, where is that in business? We don't see it. Why not? It's basic human interaction. It's basic human connection. And that's the difference. So when we're moving into the relationship side of selling, it becomes all about collaboration. And when we're working from a collaborative space with other people, we can create results that are way beyond what you would ever get in a transactional world. And let me show you. This is a model that we have. This is my raving fan flow chart. Now, this is the relationship model. It's collaboration, advocacy, and partnership based, which means people are coming to us. How much easier is it to sell something to someone that's coming to us versus to sell something where we have to go out cold? The referral business. Think about these numbers. Let's say you get 10 leads. Out of the 10 referrals that you get, if you think about the last 10 referrals that you get, I would be surprised if you had more than 2 people not return your call. There's an 80% show up rate on a conversation with a referral compared to a 40% show up rate on a direct marketing, direct sales transactional model. Do you want to scale your business by working smarter, or do you want to scale your business by working harder? In the raving fan relationship model, out of those 8 conversations, I'm being conservative to say that you might get 4 sales. The reality is that you will probably get more than 50% of those people join you because they're coming to you specifically for a reason. And they know before they come that you can solve their problem, which is why they are more willing to buy. Where it gets even better is that because of that deeper trust that you have initially with people, the relationship that you're creating is so much stronger that you start to resonate more with the person on the other end. When we're collaborating, we are resonating. When we're resonating at a deep energetical level, there's no such thing as knowing, as needing to know, like, and trust. It doesn't exist, right? These people will repeat buy off you over and over and over again because of the relationship that you've created. And here's the kicker. Referrals will only really come to you from someone who would be prepared to rebuy from you, not from someone that you've sold, someone that would rebuy. Yeah. And a referral has a 400% higher conversion rate. So let's move on and let's say the consumer. Let's look at the buyer's journey, and this will make sense to you why that transactional model doesn't work. The buyers these days are more educated than ever. Okay, they know what they want. They've done their research. They've got everything at their fingertips. Remember, 60% of those people, though, that click on a button are not looking for what we have to sell them. So the challenge that business owners face is that they spend more of their time trying to convince this 60%. That's where Mr. Sleazy comes in. He's trying to convince, he's hassling, he's pressuring, he's doing all this stuff to people that don't want to buy. 20% out of that transactional model, so 20 out of 100, know they want something, but they're unsure of what they want. And our job as a salesperson in our business is to help problem solve so that they can make the right decision for them. 17 out of that 100 that we speak to from a cold lead campaign think they know what they want. They're just needing a little bit of clarification to make sure they're making the right buying decision, and then they buy from us. So do you want to do 100 leads, cold, can hassle people, convince people for a 3% return, or do you want to do things very differently? It all comes down to our conversations, and really it's about forming a real connection. My connect, communicate, convert model is about forming deeper connections first. When we're forming deeper connections first, our funnel system is not a sales system, but it's a nurturing system. When we're doing that and we're constantly showing up with genuine care for people, then those people are actually more willing to buy. This is the part, though, that most business owners fall down in, and that is because they are attached to the outcome. They're attached to the money. They're attached to getting the deal. If you are attached to the outcome, people can sniff you a mile away and they're not going to want to do business with you. When you're detached from the outcome, what you're showing your consumer in a sales environment is that you are there for them and them only. And then we get to over-deliver the solution. That icky, sleazy salesperson is the type of fella that will tell you everything and deliver on none of it. When you get better in your business, you will actually be able to share less and you will be able to over-deliver, and that's where the super client retention and referral business will kick in. So really, it comes down to how you want to operate in your business to determine how many more sales, how much more profit, how much more retention, and how many more referrals you want to get. Do you want to be the person that's dealing with contestant A, or do you want to be the person dealing with contestant B? And that's it.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Adam. Hope everyone got some great value from Adam's presentation today. Is there anything you'd like to offer our audience, or how do people get in touch with you?
Yep, thanks, Nick. My website, which I didn't put a lot of thought into it when I created it, was the Authentic Sales Training Academy. You can go on my website and you can book a strategy call with me. We can sit down, speak for 15 minutes about where you're at and what you're doing, and can certainly offer you some opportunities where you can increase your sales through relationship selling instead of transactional selling. So you can book in a free call. There is 30 minutes. So thanks, Nick. He's put it in the chat for anyone that wants one.
Fantastic. Excellent. Anyone got any questions for Adam? Over-delivered? No, and you've answered all questions, it seems.
It's got to be one, surely.
All right, got one here in chat. What is the best way of requesting referrals?
That's a question. What's the best way of requesting referrals?
So you get the authentic process, I guess.
Well, it depends on whether you're operating from the transactional world or the relationship world. If you're operating from the transactional world, when you ask for referrals, what do you think the end user is thinking about? They're thinking about you, selling to their friends and family, which nobody wants to do. When you're in the relationship model, the easiest way to ask for referrals is from someone who has got a fantastic result from the work that you've done, because those people become your raving fan. So in that raving fan model, what you'll find is that those people will actually be your marketing machine forever. It will be an endless supply of referrals coming to you because of that. Another way to do it is and then when you're obviously oversupplying, it's pretty simple. You just say to them, if you're really happy with what I've done, I'd be really grateful for an introduction to anyone else that you feel might be open to a similar service. Use the word grateful, and use the words service, and use the words that I can possibly help.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Any other questions there? Comments? Experience?
No?
Nick, I've got one, but it's more for Paul. Paul, Paul and Jeff, I think you're the two gentlemen that have participated in each of the 6 weeks. I'd be interested to hear what your thoughts are, because it's important to myself and the other 5 speakers for us to maybe develop this going forward further.
Yeah, Thanks, Mark. Yeah, well, I haven't been on all of them. I missed a couple in the middle, or one, or at least one, maybe two. Not all of them were 100% relevant to me. Certainly the first couple and the last couple. Being a solopreneur and sort of being close to the end of my use by date. Yeah, but I particularly liked today, Adam, and a lot of things that I could totally 100% agree with. That it's good to bring it back to the front of mind, get it back to that amygdala, and marketing. Overall, a good series. Yeah, overall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good too. I missed last week's, but that's the only one I missed. But overall, I think every bit of knowledge we can accumulate gives us a better understanding of other factors. All these things can relate to a business in some way, whatever business we've got.
Mm.
Interesting, if you don't mind me making a comment about those that may well be towards the end of their working career. If I could paraphrase you, Paul. It's amazing the amount of businesses or business owners that I talk to that are at the latter stages of their business career. And when I say to them, well, what's the exit plan for you? How many times they say to me, oh, look, it's just a simple phase down, I'll gradually phase into retirement as my clients phase into retirement themselves, because invariably we all have clients around about our age. And a lot of them have a huge amount of goodwill in their business. And I think it's diabolical in some regard that they're leaving that goodwill to simply phase out. And I think that if we were to apply some of the suggestions from each of the speakers around how can we incorporate all of this in a potential exit plan to make our business more attractive for a potential sale upon exit, there might be some money certainly in retirement rather than just handing the keys in and phasing out. I just see a lot of business owners phase out that are in that solopreneur phase. They've had a good business that's kept them, fed and paying the mortgage and all those sorts of things. But, I wouldn't overlook where potentially someone could want to step into your business and you could potentially hand over to them and exit with a transaction value rather than phasing down. I guess that's all my comment would be.
That's probably a really good comment too, Matt, in the sense that the business owner might be retiring, but the clients aren't retiring. So why would you retire then when you retire?
Well, and that's part of the relationship model too, isn't it, Nick? If you're in it for the end client. But I agree with what you're saying too, Matt. Working as a business broker for a few years, the stats of businesses that are unsaleable are astronomical. It's nearly 90% of businesses are non-saleable, and that's because they don't have that growth mindset. They don't have that end goal in mind that you're sort of referring to. They don't have the systems and the processes and the procedures in place, and they don't realize that really your business is your best asset, not your house. And when you can create that business to make that your big superannuation payday at whatever level that is for you, it could be $500,000, it could be $100 million, it doesn't really matter. But when you're working your business with the end goal of mind, and this is where all of this fits into play, having our right insurances, having our right structures, having our right marketing and sales plans, having the right banking people, learning how to save our costs. No worries, Mary. All these things are what add to how you can create a valuable asset that somebody else can buy.
Well, and even in those reputational type businesses, and I'm in financial services, I'm an accountant. At the end of the day, however, I still believe I'm in a reputational type of business. I think about whether or not there's any IP or goodwill, and how tricky is it for me to sell my IP or goodwill. But at the same time too, if I'm 70 odd, you know, and I'm looking to phase down, and I'm willing to sort of just let that fall into the sand, gee, for someone starting out, they're going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years to sort of build that ecosystem of goodwill around them, notwithstanding all the marketing and sales that they might well do. So rather than let that transaction fall over, and as I said, erode into the sand, you know, I'm sure that there's a budding young, you know, sir or madam that's pretty keen to sort of get involved in business, that, you know, having a platform to start and grow their own ecosystem and their own goodwill, you know, there could be a synergy there, that's all. So I see solicitors and accountants and solopreneurs all the time. They just step away because selling their business is too hard. And sure, you may not get $1 million, but I suspect that there's more value potentially for the right up and comer, provided that there's a, you know, a win-win sort of situation for them and you, and yeah.
Can I just add, just in my experience, we're talking going into retirement, so many people over 60 paying, you know, 40, 30, 40 cents on the dollar tax when they can be using things like super and reducing their tax down to 15%. It's just incredible amount of times I see that. So please, you know, see your accountant or your financial planner, and, you know, I mean, the best way to make money is reducing your tax legally.
Yep, awesome.
Well, I think that's probably a good place to end not only today's session, but in fact this entire series as well too. So to all of our speakers along here today, thank you very much for your wisdom, the time that you've given over the lunchtime series. For those that have come and watched and joined live, thank you for coming in and joining in live and your questions as well. And for those of you that are in Facebook land, this has been live streamed out to Facebook as well. And I know many of you have been watching that there as well, either live or after the event. And of course, all of these videos or the replays are up on YouTube as well. So if there are any there that you think you'd like to watch again, or you think that someone else might like to watch, feel free to point them to the video on YouTube. We'll also get the links all up, or the videos all up onto a page as well too, and share those links out to all of the speakers, and to share out to where they to their clients, and we'll have it available for public people to come through. So if there is anyone else that you think would be benefit from some of the wisdom shared here, feel free to share that out. But for now, that is the end of this lunchtime series. Come and join us again for the next series that we do, and let's go and make the next 12 months, 24 months the most successful yet. So don't let circumstances dictate how our business runs. Let's take charge of our businesses so that we dictate how our business runs, regardless of the circumstances. But let's go and have a sensational year as we come up to the end of the year, and look forward to seeing you all sometime next time into the next series. Go and have a great day.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
That was really good today, Adam. Thought your presentation was really good, mate.